Hey there, today I'm going to show you how to draw Shazam. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that you set up your paper in landscape view, not portrait. So we're going to start with his eyes. Let's start with the eyebrows. So the inner part of the right eyebrow, I'm going to start at the top and draw a curve going down to the bottom of the eyebrow. And move over to the left and do the exact same thing. So two curves moving in towards each other this way. From this bottom edge, I'm going to draw a curve going to the top and then just angling down slightly. I'm going to go up a little bit and do a little bit of overlap here. Draw another curve going up to the top of the eyebrow and then tapering down to the edge of the eyebrow here. Let's do the same thing on the left side. Starting at the bottom, curving up, and then bringing down the side. We can taper this up to the top of the eyebrow and then coming down with an overlap right in the center there. Let's go ahead and color this in black. And let's go to the left side and color that in black. Okay, now from here let's draw some eyes. So I'm going to have them sort of squinting. So right underneath this eyebrow, I'm just going to draw a curve, an upward curve. Same on the left side, making sure that they're at the same height along here. And for the nose, I'm going to start right about here, halfway down the eyebrow on the right, and draw a curve towards the center of his face. From here I'm going to draw a straight angled line out towards the right. From here I'm just going to curl in back towards center. From here I'm just going to take this center point of the nose tip, just draw a curve coming down, and I'm just going to curve up the sides. On the left side here I'm just going to do sort of an upside down U, and I'm just going to tilt that line up on the side there, so the side of the nostril. Let's move down to the mouth. So here it's in basically two parts. So I'm going to put a dot in the center of his mouth. I'm going to draw a curve going out to the right, and then that same curve going out towards the left. And then on the sides of his mouth, I'm just going to draw little brackets, little closures. Okay, just make that a little bit bigger. Underneath the mouth, I'm going to draw the bottom lip line. So it's basically a long sort of curve going along the bottom of his mouth. Let's move over to the sides of his head. So up on the side of his temple here, I'm going to draw a straight line going down on the left, and a straight line going down on the right. So around the same height as the mouth. You're going to come down to his chin. His chin is pretty big, so it stops right about here. So I'm going to start with the bottom line first. So straight line across the bottom, around the same width as his mouth. And go up at an angle and just finish that off there. And basically a straight line that goes up on the sides. Let's draw some cheekbones. So here I'm just going to draw a curve going down on both sides. And in the middle of his chin, I'm just going to draw a little cleft just to show his chin. On the side here, let's draw his ears. So let's draw a curve going up to the top, straight little short line across the top, then coming down and then curving back in towards the head. Inside here, I'm just going to draw a little bit of a curve just to show a little bit of ear detail. Let's do the same thing on the left side. So a little curve going up, short straight line across, come straight down and then curve in towards his head. We'll draw a little bit of a line inside for some ear detail. Now from here, I'm going to draw the inner part of his hairline first, before we do the outer part of his head. So curving two lines in towards each other, and then going up in a straight angle on either side, and then we're going to converge to a center point. So I'm going to put a dot right here, and we're just going to curve out to connect those points. Now let's go move out a little bit here, and we're going to go straight up on either side, left and right, just to where that point is on the side of his temples, and then we're going to round out the top of his head, kind of like that. We'll go ahead and color all that in black. Okay, there we go. So there's his head. Let's get into the rest of his body. So his neck is basically the same width as his face. So let's start right here on the side of his head, straight down on the left and right side. And we're going to connect these 2 points with a curve. So curve going down. This is going to make the top of the rope that goes around his neck. Then here on the side here, I'm just going to draw an angled curve going in towards each other just to show a bit of his throat. From this point, I'm just going to curve out. On this point, I'm going to do the same thing, but as I go, before I finish off, I have to stop and draw a circle. This is for the button that ties in his cape. And all I want to do here is basically taper out, basically getting a little thicker in the middle, and then tapering it back underneath that button. Now from here, I'm just going to draw some divisions. So this is for the rope. So I'm going to draw a curve spaced out evenly across the inside of these two lines. And you want to kind of get it in sort of an angle this way. Okay. Now so we got the rope across. Let's get into his shoulders. So from this point, I'm going to draw pretty much a straight line angling down to the edge of the shoulder. And right here, we're going to do the same thing, going straight out. So making sure that they're the same width. From here, I'm just going to round out his shoulder. Two short curves going down to his back of his arms. And from here, I'm going to do an overlap. So I'm going to have his arms, sort of his fists on his hips. So his elbows would basically point out about this wide. So from this point, I'm going to curve and overlap that shoulder line. Let's move our finger along, and right about here, I'm going to do the same thing. So overlap to a point in his elbow. Now the reason why we started with the shoulders is because I have to draw the cape overlapping his arm here. So let's do that first. So right about here, I'm going to curve all the way out to his arm, the outer edge of his arm. So the cape is draped over his shoulder here. We're going to make this line twice as thick. So I'm just going to trace the inner part of that cape across. Okay, so we got that. Let's draw his cape collar. So on this side here, I'm going to have it curving down. So right below this ear, curve out. And then from this point, I'm going to curve back in. On this side, I'm going to curve in the opposite direction. So going up, and then curving back in behind that button. And then like I did here, I'm going to make this twice as thick, or twice as wide. So just tracing the inner part of that line on the outside. Okay, so now we got that. Let's get into some chest detail. So his shoulders are out here. His chest will just fall inside and basically curve in towards his hips. So let's start on this side. So right about here, I'm going to curve a line going down to his waist. Imagine that same thing over here. So we'll probably start here and come in. So from here, I'm just going to simplify his hips. So from here, I'm just going to curve down on both sides, going outward. From these 2 points, I'm just going to curve and connect those two ends. We're going to move up quite a bit and draw a thick belt. So just following that same curve up a little higher here. Okay, so that's the belt line. We're going to stop right about there. Let's get into some chest detail. So he's got this sort of collar that kind of comes across his chest to the point right about here. So I'll start my pen on this side and curve upwards towards that button. I'm going to curve down, and it's going to basically meet up with that belt. So from here, I'm going to curve down towards where that waistline is. Okay, so the same height. From here, I'm going to curve out and just follow that same contour of his hips. On the top corner here, I'm just going to draw a little button, so a round circle. Let's draw the lightning bolt in the middle of his chest. So start in the middle here, or just left the middle, draw a straight line across. From here, I'm going to take this side and draw an angled line down, and go across just a little bit. And following that same path, I'm going to draw another angled line down, straight across, and then from here, angled line down almost to his belt. Now from here, I want to make my way up here, but as I go along, I have to draw these little steps that go up. So I'll go up, and I want to go above this line here on this side. And come across, and go up, across, and then up, just to meet there. Alright, let's get into his arms and just finish off the arms here. So I'm going to have his arms come in towards his hips, basically putting his fist towards his hips. I'm going to make it very simple, okay? So from this elbow, I'm going to make my way to this hip. So I'm going to draw basically a curved line that goes right into that hip. On this side, I'm going to do the same thing. So curving in towards that hip. Now for the fist, all I need to do is take the width of his fist, so right about here, I'm just going to draw a curve that goes up. From here, I'm just going to draw a line that goes up, straight up, curves across. This is for the thumb, and then an angle just comes down to his wrist. From here, I'm just going to draw a short line that goes across. Now I want to make my way around to that elbow, but I'm going to leave a gap here. So I'm going to curve that goes around like that. That's for his forearm. Right here, I'm going to draw a curve just to separate the wristbands. We'll move our way up right about here, and just draw an overlap. And then I'm just going to draw a few separations in the wristband. So just 3 lines inside there. right here, I can make my biceps. So right about here, I'm just going to draw a curve that tucks in behind that chest. Now we're going to do the same thing, but flipped over on this side. So let's start with the line across his hand, going up. Then the line that goes up in an angle for his thumb. The curve along the top. And then back towards the wrist here. Just a short little line for the wrist. And then from this point, I'm just going to curve out the rest of his forearm. Let's draw this line in. So right from this point, I'm going to curve that wristband. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So I'm just going to go across, starting at the wrist. And just make these little bend. That 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's draw one more right up here. Okay. And then for the bicep, like I did here, I'm just going to draw it right about here. Just curve that in towards that wrist or that forearm. And then the final thing is the cape that's tucked in behind. So I'm going to start where this cape gets tucked in behind that arm and comes straight down here. I'm going to make that twice as thick, going down. And then the cape's just going to swing behind his back here. So from right at this point, I'm going to imagine the curve of this cape coming down this way, behind that arm, and then continuing on this way. And again, making that twice as thick, right behind. And I think that's pretty much it. There we have it. There's Shazam. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please make sure you tell your friends about us, get them to subscribe, and keep on watching more videos. We're going to have a lot more contests coming up, so keep practicing. We'll see you again soon.